So this brine valorization initiative, no, let's say, where are they taking place? Because obviously I see, the potential in desalination plants is the ones, that I find more familiar, because of my personal experience. But I've seen also, initiatives like in the power industry, oil and gas industry, even in the mining itself, and geothermal. Where these projects, are taking place, or you think that are the main interest, in getting this into the industries?
Of course, there are several sectors that this can be done, but you have to take into consideration always the parameters that you need to take to put into the equation, let's say. And usually, I used to say to my colleagues and co-professionals, engineers tend to think in capex and opex axis, right? But here, in this case of brine valorization, brine mining, we have four. We have capex, opex, volume, and then we have also the risk axis. So the brine valorization makes sense only when the volumes are high to produce enough products to make a business case. But then you also have the risk factor, because the bigger the operation, the risk scales up geometrically. So you need, if you want to take out something, for example, lithium, let's go in this case, right? With DLE, the thing is that still technologies are under development, yeah? So, but the risk factor of the operation is geometrically high, and you need to understand what makes sense, what is the sweet spots that these applications can be applied. But if you have a bigger, let's say, operation, then you need to go to another technology. In this case, anyway, the main areas that we can work with with brines are desalination, geothermal, oil and gas, mining. Yeah, mainly because of the volumes and the repeatability of the analysis of these brines.
It's interesting what you said, because you said four factors, so I can imagine, how difficult might be, or each approach is different, because you need to analyze, as I said, volume, capex, opex, and risk is a matter of a graph, where is the sweet spot at certain moments, because maybe the innovation is ongoing, at every moment, and I think there is a continuous learning, curve also. So as I said, you need to see on the long term, but in the end, you need to be careful, that
These are 20,
difficult.
25-year operations, right? And you need to understand what makes business sense. There are a lot of parameters that you need to take into consideration, meaning your own operational ones, right? But also the commercial ones, meaning that you need to find potential clients. These clients need to be in the vicinity of your operations, because shipping adds a lot of costs, to your business case. So, and this is why we haven't seen so many of these type of projects. And even with mega projects such as NEOM, for example, it's still difficult to do, right? Because you have to take all these parameters into consideration.